distance. Yeah, good to see you again, Charlie.
I'm sorry I missed the last one. You know, the funny thing is because on the last day, the last Monday of each month, I have the East Haddam Historical Society meeting.
Yeah.
And so then now, obviously, this is going to be great. It's going to flow right over into Tuesday.
Yeah.
But last month, I'm so sorry, you guys. I just completely.
Well, I can't throw stones because I live in a glass house.
Well, I felt very bad about it. You know, I really did, you guys.
I don't feel bad. We all have our moments. We are recording, by the way.
Oh.
So we're in session?
We are in session. And if we're not recording, Linda will be in here in about 5 minutes and say, you pushed the wrong buttons again.
Oh, okay.
But I believe we're recording. So let's do a call to order, roll call. Charlie Myers.
Yeah, here. Bernie's here.
And Susan is not coming, so Charlie, you will be appointed as alternate.
Yes,
for
here's
today.
the agenda. Those are the minutes I gave you. You got the agenda.
Mr. Tom Delventhal,
Yes, sir.
Mr. John Olin,
I'm correct. I'm here.
and Mr. Bernie Gillis.
Here.
Hi, Bernie.
Hey, Charlie.
And
Did I give you these?
did you-
Oh, no.
It's a collection of all our maps. The different parts.
So much. I
Yeah.
believe I have the majority of these, Bernie.
Oh, do you?
I do. I've collected them over time. I'm just taking a quick look through. Yes, I
Bernie.
believe I have the majority of these, Bernie.
Agenda?
I don't want to take them if you can't afford to.
No, I can afford, yeah.
Then let me
John,
take
you have the
these
agenda in
and-
minutes?
I do.
Okay, good. It's good to see you.
Yeah, well, I might be able to encourage somebody to go walking one of these days,
Yeah, yeah.
you know. So these are all the ones that fall under our purview.
Right. The
Great.
two Nature Conservancy
Mhm.
and the rest of our 12 of our units.
What is Sheepskin Hollow fall under?
Land Trust. Hey, Gary. Sorry I'm late.
It's okay. Okay, you all have a copy of the agenda?
Mm-hmm.
Can I get a motion for approval?
So moved. I move we approve the agenda.
Second?
Okay. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, approval of Conservation Commission minutes from February 1st, 2022.
I move that we approve the minutes.
Is this the first we're seeing of these? I
No,
didn't
this
see.
was sent to you on Thursday.
Oh, it was? Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, I try to get them out every Thursday.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, do you want a minute to read through
No, if nobody finds anything of
them?
error.
I do have some typos to correct.
Yeah, again, my understanding of Robert's rules is that we can't discuss the changes until we've made a motion to approve them, and then we discuss changes. So that's
Okay,
why
then can we
I've
get
got changes too. I'm just saying why I made the motion. But I'm happy to talk about it.
Okay, what? Yeah, we've had this discussion before. It seems ridiculous to approve them and then go back and make changes to them, but.
All righty then, have at it. Hi, Charlotte.
Right, hi, Charlotte.
I have things for you from the car, we'll catch up after.
I'll have to look that one up.
I don't have anything to look it up in. That's just from.
Thank you.
Oh, you don't? I have Robert's rules at home.
All right. Way to go. Thank you so much.
Tom, do you want to make note of the changes?
Yes.
Or I can do that and update
I got
the
it.
minutes.
Oh, what's this?
Or John, you can do
Well,
that.
Famous.
yeah, you should probably make note of the changes because you've got the original, right?
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
Nice.
John drafted them.
So,
Susan's not here.
No.
are there are typos, are there?
There are,
Thank
under 2A,
2A.
approval of agenda, Mr. Wilson stated, "the Mr. Olin,"
Oh,
should be that.
that.
Okay, 2B, where it says minuted amended, it should be minutes amended.
Okay.
3A, IA, Mr. Gillis. He's got 2 I's, 3 I's, actually.
Third eye.
Third eye, yeah, he's spiritual.
Extra I there. Under 3A, IIIB, we hear about Mount Delventhal. That's on page 2,
Yes, I see,
3B,
yes.
Mount Delventhal. I think that should be Mr.
Mountain, no, that's my nickname.
I don't,
You have MT instead of MR. Like a little more than halfway down the page. 3B?
oh, okay. Oh, 3B, excuse me. Yep. Got it.
Okay, on page 3, under item 3C, at the end, we are talking about he wishes to plant 25 and 50. It should be 25 to 50
Okay,
of various native plants.
of various.
Yes, just delete these individual of various native plants, because I think every year we'll have different plants that we put in.
Okay.
And that was for me.
I don't remember where I saw it, but it said roaring instead of brook, run. Someplace.
3AIA. I see it. Roaring
there it
Run
is,
Reserve.
It should be roaring brook.
Roaring Brook, got it.
Yeah.
And then I'll send them on to you, Gary, when I make those corrections.
I got
Okay.
a couple.
We got another one?
Yeah, on 3D on page 1,
Yes?
Chapel Farm / Boot Rock. So add a rock after boot. And I don't,
I'm sorry, that was 3,
3-1D
3-1D.
on
Okay,
page 1.
okay.
And I don't, it sounds in that like you're saying that the garbage was cleaned up off of Route 82, but the parking lot is off of Route 82. I think you were cleaning up garbage in the parking lot, yeah, Bernie?
I was, yeah.
Yeah, so just strike off Route 82.
Okay. Well, Chapel Farm, it's Boot
Boot rock.
Rock.
Yeah. And then on page 2, where it says,
You're beating me up, John.
in 2B, it
Peed it
says,
out at the end, I gotta tell you.
Mr.
His honeymoon was his first minutes.
Shannon, we miss you.
Mr. Delventhal expressed an interest in doing an article about plantings in CC properties. I don't recall saying
Wait, where is it? Oh, boy, now this is serious. What is that, Tom?
2B?
2B or
page
not?
2, right up at the top, yeah,
Okay.
2B or not.
Not to write the
Yeah,
article.
right after burning bush, planting elderberry, like right at the top, see there, in B?
And, I do.
And then
Mr.
it
Devital
says,
expressed an interest in doing an article about plantings in CC properties.
yeah, and Mr. Wilson was going to send me a record of articles, but I don't think it was specifically about the plantings, it was just about articles generally. I'd be happy to write an article about plantings, but I don't think I
Well-
ever said.
No, I sent you the article that, for the last year, I recorded everything that we have.
Okay, great.
And I don't remember it specifically being about plantings
Yeah,
either.
that's
It
all
was
I'm
more
saying,
about
yeah.
Okay.
The preserves
Yeah,
themselves.
we're gonna get to that in the agenda, and I've started an article just on Sabine and on trail monitors generally, just a quick one, but plantings, I thought you had already covered that.
So you expressed an interest in doing an article about, was it, Sabine?
Just say about CC properties.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay,
So just take out plantings.
Yeah, there you go, yeah.
okay.
Beautiful, that's all I've got.
Motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So moved. Thank you all. John, you will
Thank you,
correct them and
John.
send the minutes to
Will.
me? Okay.
You're welcome. Good luck, Tom.
Okay, moving on to old business, subcommittee updates, Bernie, stewardship and forestry management.
Okay, for February of this year, I went up to Davidson on the 4th of February and put maps in the map holder. On the 8th, we did some surveillance of the town hall to see if I could find our DR mower, and I found it in back of the town meeting house. It's in the shed there,
Behind the food pantry.
next to the food pantry. Yeah. So as soon as the weather gets good, I think I'm gonna roll that out and get it started and see how she runs. So we'll have that for next summer. On the 9th, I went to Roaring Brook with, I believe, Gary, and we brought the railings down to the, correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't remember the date, but I remember hauling down some railings.
We hauled the 2x4 railings down to the bridge and,
Tom showed up later, I think,
okay.
because he carried the last three down, or dragged the last three down.
And then 2 days later, on the 11th, we went back to Roaring Brook and installed those railings. So the bridge is done, per se. We need a little more work on it, but it's in pretty good shape. On the 12th, spent a couple hours up at Gelston, clearing the new Blue Trail, and then on the 14th, I was at Davison with John, and we walked the trail and cleared it.
Great place.
Go again?
I'm sorry?
You wish you had known?
Yeah, because I'm.
You weren't home.
I wasn't. Oh.
No,
Oh,
no, there was no car in the yard, but you been busy or?
Yeah, working.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry to hear that, yes.
Yeah, no, this is just, I get some free time during the day and it's a nice day, so,
It's a beautiful trail, isn't it?
yeah,
Very nice.
yeah.
There's a number of hawks, I believe, up there that I've seen, and they've been roosting and nesting and stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, yeah, no.
And while Bernie and I were there, we talked about its proximity to Getaway, and that would be something that they could easily access.
Yeah, getaway cabins, yeah. I mean, it's right down the street.
Yeah, the only problem is there's not very much room for parking.
No, you can get 2 or 3 cars there.
2 or 3.
Right now, it's, they plow all the snow right into the,
Oh, yeah.
into the kiosk,
It's
so.
the end of the road, so that's
Yeah,
the terminus.
yeah, that was the problem. Had to climb over the snowbank to get the maps in the map holder, but yeah, I don't know if there's no correction on that. They have to push it there. There's no other way. So on the 19th, I went out to Sabine and spent an hour and a half on both the white and the red trail after getting a notice from one of Charlotte's monitors.
Is that after the big storm, the big
Yeah.
windstorm?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, because I thought I was the monitor for Sabine. No wonder all the trails were clear when I went.
Well, what happened was simultaneously, Dave Carbo picked that up. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, great.
So, but
Okay.
it's nice to have multiples. We
Did you
have
go out there?
multiples.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but after the 19th.
Did you see anything, or?
No.
No.
Everything was beautiful.
So I guess I should communicate when that would be pretty difficult, though.
Well, I didn't realize that there was anyone but me.
Oh, well, no, Charlotte's been putting together a group of people, and,
Yeah, I know, but at the last meeting,
Yeah.
that was
Right.
me, yeah.
Well, and the thing is, Dave had already signed on for several others, but then, when I send out, it's usually to the entire group. And so he must have decided to pick that one up too, because he was out there on the 9th of February. And so I had forwarded on the
Okay.
report to you.
How do you spell carbo?
CARBO,
Okay, just like it sounds.
yeah.
Yeah, so, following up on his email, I went out there and
Yeah.
took care of that. It was quite a bit of work too.
Well, that was some wind. It went on for, what,
Yeah,
3 days?
yeah.
Yeah.
So, in light of that, Gary and I went out on the 21st and walked the blue and orange trail and cleaned up some stuff out there. Gary hadn't been out there before, so it was a good visit. And on the 24th, John and I installed a sign and a map holder on Florida Road at the Roaring Brook Preserve. So people have a little bit of a landmark where they are.
Will there ever be a kiosk at Sabine?
We hope so someday.
Okay.
Sabine.
Yeah, I just was surprised when I went over to check the trails.
Yeah, that's
after the
actually
race.
on my list. That's
Okay.
one of the priorities I'm planning on in the next, as soon as the
Okay.
frost is out of the ground. And
We can
there's
dig a
a
hole.
considerable snowbank there too. That's
Yeah.
the end of the road.
Yeah.
And that's one of the parking lots we're gonna have to address with some stone too.
Okay. Yeah, it's just the cul-de-sac right now,
Right.
right? It's just the end of the road. There's
Yeah.
no parking per se.
Well, there is, the bank is, all the snow is on where the
Okay.
parking lot, but there's
Okay.
a slot for maybe 1-2 cars there.
So I was talking to Jim last night, Jim Ventris, and he was talking about sluiceways over there. Is that what that, there's like obviously a rut that's been cut
Yeah.
along the White Trail? Is that
Yeah.
what that was, a sluiceway?
That was the old road,
Oh, the old road, okay. I
And-
thought it looked more like a road.
and they put in a culvert, and when it rains real hard, a lot of that wash comes right down the road and washes out our trail.
Oh, so
And,
that's to try and save
People
the
that
trail.
use that have meandered around it and made, and that's something, when we put the kiosk in, we're gonna have to do some work in terms of forging a new trail,
Okay,
so that you don't go down that deep rut where it used to
Okay.
be. But I think, that's something that we need to talk to Public Works about, and the Selectman's office about maybe getting some kind of work done down there, so that, we don't continually get washout there.
okay. Cool.
Yeah. And let's see, sign, and then, this weekend I went out to Petrel. The Land Trust had a walk out there. And, so I went out for an hour and a half before the walk and, cleaned up, the trails that they were gonna be walking on, the red and the, orange trail. And, they were pretty clean, but, there were a few things that I had to take care of. But that was an enjoyable walk with the Land Trust, and John was there.
You went on the walk with them,
Yeah.
and it was well attended?
Yeah, I would say 10 people.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, something like that. And I got to meet Stu Palmer, one of Charlotte's monitors. I'm not quite sure what properties he's in charge of, but he was very enthusiastic.
Davison. He signed
Davison.
on for Davison.
Oh, okay. So, and that's about it.
Okay. Oh, you didn't mention the sign,
What sign?
the handicap sign
Oh,
at Petrel.
oh yeah. Somebody had knocked over the handicap sign at Petrel, so we have to reinstall that.
Okay.
Plow, is it plowed? Is that what happened? What happened?
It looks like a plow or somebody backed into it.
Oh.
It was in the handicap's parking lot, and it seems like if if they hit the sign, they must have hit the rock too. Cause they broke it right off,
Oh, they did?
yeah.
It's
Somebody's
salvageable.
car might have
Maybe
a.
it kept them from
No,
hitting
it
the rock.
sheared the
At the
4x4
ground-
right off.
ground
I'll have to
level.
replace the 4x4, yeah. But the sign's fine, yeah.
Yeah, I think when we put it back, we probably want to put it maybe behind the rock.
Behind it, yeah, yeah. And I have another 4x4 at home, so I can,
Okay, cool.
I don't know how digging in the ground is out there. I don't remember putting it in, if it was difficult or not, but we'll get that up pretty soon.
Okay.
Okay, outreach and promotion. First, I just want to mention, everybody has seen the Gelston easement in the quarterly events magazine,
I did not
first
see
quarter.
that.
Yep,
Yeah, no.
very good.
Well written.
You notice which
I-
picture was chosen? You notice which picture was chosen?
I noticed, I was kind of hoping we would get some human faces in there, but it was not my choice on the picture, so I'm sorry, Bernie.
All right.
I figured that one would be chosen because, you know.
It's a nice scene,
Yeah, it is.
a scene of the, through the trees of the beaver pond down below. I have reached out to the Land Trust and their calendar for April 23rd is clear. So I think April 23rd would be a good date to do our stewardship event on, down at Petrel, as we spoke last month. You never know how many people will show up. You may have anywhere from 2 to 15. So I'm thinking before that event, I probably would announce it, maybe have it in the paper mid-April, maybe a week or so before, a week or two before. And I think we want to get a load of, not compost, mulch down there. If you know the area in the middle of the ADA trail where there's 3 or 4 trees that were left, there was also a lot of junk growing in there, a lot of invasive plants. So my thought is just to smother that with mulch. It could be done later in the year, or if 20 people show up, I'll have a wheelbarrow there, and John can bring his wheelbarrow,
The yellow wheelbarrow.
the yellow wheelbarrow. And if we have enough people, we can do that because, I mean, there are probably 3 things we could do. The primary goal would be to clear as much of the burning bush out of the pond drainage area as we can to get it prepared for planting the elderberries in the fall. There's also when you walk around to the other side of the pond, there's also a triangular area that also has a lot of burning bush, so that area could also be cleared. We could also do weeding of the pollinator garden, which could really use some work at this point. So I'd like to have 3 or 4 different activities.
Okay.
In the event we get a bigger turnout than we expected.
Okay.
But I'd like to also pose the idea, what about providing lunch for people who show up? If we do this like from 10 to 12 and then have a lunch.
Yeah, we've done that.
That's
in
what
the
we've done
past.
in the past.
We've done that in the past. And what would be a good
We had,
lunch to get?
well, depending on the location of where the work party is, we choose someplace that's not too much in the opposite direction. But we had wonderful, wonderful sandwiches from the Hadlime Corner Market there.
Yeah, they do
I
great
mean,
sandwiches.
they are to die for. And I donated my brownies because, I mean, kids that 40 years ago were in school with my kids, if they bump into me, they'll say, "Are you still making those fabulous brownies?"
They're nice.
So I'm happy to do that again for dessert, especially since I can't hike through the woods with my bad knee. So, you know, if we do sandwiches, I can bring.
Could I ask you to like take the orders when people show up? If you'd be there.
Well, it depends. I may have my niece and family with us at that point because
Oh,
they're
okay.
moving out from California back to Connecticut, and it all depends on if they find a house. So I will know more later in March, but I don't want to commit to something like
Yeah, I
that.
think we should just put together a couple of different choices.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes,
sandwiches
Oh, yeah.
a couple
Put
of
in an
times we
order
did,
and have Charlotte pick it
everyone
up and
order
bring it.
something
Well, if Charlotte
specific,
can be there.
Yeah, she can come out, but she can't come out and take orders and then go back to the store. That's what she's saying.
You wanna already have like a couple of options already, Bernie, that's what you're
Yeah,
saying,
ham
right?
and cheese and
If
roast
we
beef.
run it like from 10 to 12, we could probably plan on taking orders at around 10.
Well, no, because they're super busy. I don't remember exactly how we did it last time.
Oh, the market is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this order in early.
I think, who was doing it?
It doesn't have to be custom.
Yeah, whoever was doing it got people to let her know ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, had it, but it might make more sense to just have some choices, like
Yeah.
2 different things.
No onions.
And bring them and then let people choose.
Well, 3 choices, turkey, roast beef, or ham, right?
Yeah, something
There's
like that.
Gillette Castle is the
Yeah.
roast beef, I think, right?
Right.
Or is that the Sherlock Holmes? But they have the names for them. They're really very good.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, well,
Or if
mark
peop-
that on your calendars, April 23rd.
Is that the start time is gonna be 10?
I'm thinking that's probably most reasonable for people, and
Is that a
I don't see
Saturday?
that we can keep volunteers for any longer than 2 hours.
What are you thinking? 2 hours?
2
10
hours.
to 12?
I can bring soda. I'll have a cooler, and I'll bring
Okay.
soda and water.
Okay. My only comment would be, should we plan ahead on what areas we're gonna focus this invasive removal on? You've pointed out to a few different areas, but there's a lot of burning bush all throughout that whole preserve. And,
There is.
yeah,
Well, I'm thinking the area
you pretty much
between
know,
the ADA trails.
you pretty
the new
much know
ADA
what
trails.
areas you wanna
Yeah, it just depends how far back do you want to
get into it.
Because I don't know if that actually turns into a stream, or if that water is just absorbed in the swampy area and goes underground.
Yeah, it runs all the way down on the other side of that field where John found the tires.
Oh, I found some tires.
And then it runs out into the
Into
8
8
Mile.
Mile?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a short bridge that goes across the trail. Well, it's not there anymore. A little footbridge.
Yeah.
The stream runs out, but a lot of it gets absorbed into the water, into the ground.
Mhm.
It's sandy soil there, so it accepts a lot of water.
Yeah, it's a perfect spot for the elderberry.
When we were on the land trust walk at Chicago the other day, it was mentioned that how to deal with burning, a method of really hitting burning bush so that it doesn't come back, namely with a propane torch, actually going right down
Yeah,
and
I've heard about that
repeatedly,
too, yeah.
going to the stem, the bottom of the stem, and I don't know how we plan to eradicate it, but that was something that was mentioned as very effective.
I mean, we can bring the torch out there. We have a torch. I'd like to pull as many roots as we can. We have,
Pulling is better.
we have,
Some of the big plants, John, you would have to spend
Yeah,
probably 15, 20 minutes, because you
Sure,
have
yeah.
to get the whole crown
yeah,
where the roots and the
Yeah.
stems join. You
Yeah.
have to get that glowing red.
yeah, okay.
And you're in a swampy area to begin with, so it'll be challenging.
So I think
Matic,
it's-
a matic, I mean, I've done that a lot with Japanese, the bayberry,
yeah, using an axe is also
an axe.
cutting the roots.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Barberry.
Pardon?
Barberry.
Barberry, yeah.
Barberry is a good plant.
Yeah, barberry.
Barberry.
But, yeah, we can do it with brute
So I think
force.
the process will be cut the stalks off, and then a second team will come along and address
Okay,
the roots. Whatever they can do, you know.
Have you heard back from either Rob or Marilyn if they have that root puller?
No,
Because they're supposed to have, the
Rob's-
Conservation Commission is supposed to have
Rob said
wrench.
Rob thinks that I took it, but I don't have it. And he said that maybe it's still around the yard, but no, I haven't looked into that. But I
They're
can't.
like, they're not cheap, if you get a real strong one.
Well,
They can be like $250 for.
I volunteered mine.
Is it sturdy?
Oh yeah.
Because the ones I've seen, you actually put a blade underneath the crown. And one person, and it's got a heavy bar on it, and one person pushes down on the bar while two people above are yanking on the branches. So before we start cutting branches, Bernie, we want to see if we can pull them out.
I thought I sent that to you.
You did. This is different than the one I've
Oh, it
seen
is.
and used.
Okay.
I've seen them use it for
It's about 4 feet.
Barbary.
4 feet long. It's got
Yeah.
jaws on it that collapse and.
Does it work?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we can always bring it if we can't find the other one.
Oh yeah.
And we'll
Yeah.
give it a
No, I
shot.
was planning on it, but if I can find the other one, I'll do that too.
All right. And Charlotte, if you could reach out to the reserve monitors,
Tell
just to
them,
tell them to save the date
okay,
Yeah, they close it.
for the 23rd of April.
yeah.
It might be a good chance for some of the reserve monitors to actually come together and meet everybody.
Right.
Right.
And I would recommend putting it in the paper twice, because one time, further ahead and then closer in, because some people need to plan several weeks ahead. And then, of course, it's nice to have a reminder. But the most successful ones that we had in the past, we did a double, this is going to happen when, and then remember, this is now, next week.
Do we have our next Conservation Commission slated?
You mean regular meeting?
No, Conservation Conversations, the article in East Adam News, sorry.
We do not yet.
So let's
That would be a
make
good
it
one.
Petrel, and that can be the first announcement. And then we can do another just general announcement after that.
Are you suggesting that the next CC article be on the stewardship event?
Yeah, yeah. Talking about Petrel and what we plan on doing, and I mean, some of this discussion we've just been having here about,
Well,
do we
That
want to
make
use
sense?
That makes sense.
NAPOM or?
Yeah.
I mean, I think, the talk from the Land Trust, and Bernie contributed to this, was the geologic features of it.
Yes.
So we could, entice people with some natural history and geologic history.
Yeah, you could put that in there. Yeah.
We went, that walk, I might add, was also interesting because there was a professional plant biologist, Stephen, who commented on some of the flora that we were seeing.
Steve Deadman.
Steve Dedman, so you have a resource for the geology?
Well, no, that was.
I was the geologist.
So anyway, that article could be put together with some of those
Glacier.
issues.
You're a man of
Yeah,
many
those
talents,
facts.
Bernie.
Is that the glacier?
Well-
What do they call that? Glacier. Glaciologist or glacier. I don't know.
Are you one?
No,
Or
but
you
I did
know?
a little research before the walk, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you did research for the Land Trust walk?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I was just thinking of that earlier today, wondering where I could find that information, because I would love to just learn that myself, whether or not it goes into an article.
There's some great YouTube presentations on,
Okay.
So Tom,
So can we share that via email?
New England glaciers, yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Tom, are you offering to write the
Yeah.
article
Yeah.
on Petrel?
Yeah, it sounds like there's enough for a couple articles, which
And you would include
We can be
mention
leading
about
right up
the
till the
April
20
23rd stewardship event. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that should probably be then by end of March, which means
Yeah,
probably halfway through March, because he needs 2 weeks
yeah.
to get it in.
You can fudge it a little bit.
You can fudge a little bit, but not a lot. It
Can,
seems.
can I reach
Someone
Steve
say. Well, I just, yeah, well, that's great, because that'd be about a month, right? A month
Yeah.
out, and then if we
Yeah.
put what do you think, a week out or 2 weeks for the second one, I think that would be great.
Yeah.
Get people thinking about it, and then,
And we probably want 2 articles, because it sure sounds like there's more than enough for 800 words, and that's the limit they want us to keep. So think of it as part 1, part 2.
great time.
I have Steve's email.
You have it, okay.
I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Okay, the other thing we need to start thinking about, we have had an article in the Events magazine every quarter since, as far back as I checked, 2020. All 4 quarters, and then all 4 quarters in 2021, and now 2022. So we should be thinking about what we might want to put as a short article in the East Haddam Events magazine as well.
Could we just do an excerpt from this? I mean,
Well, here's
they
the
only
thing.
allow 600 words.
Third quarter 2021, we talked about Petrel Preserve Gardens. Fourth quarter, we talked about the Petrel ADA Trail opening.
Okay, so maybe there's a little too much on.
So there's a
Petrel.
little bit too much on Petrel in the Events magazine, so
Okay.
I think we need something else for the Events magazine.
Okay.
What did you have in mind here?
Well, I don't know, Charlotte, you were talking about doing an article or a session on
Yeah.
the easements.
My accountant insisted that he had to get the most up-to-date information for me,
Mm-hmm.
and he hasn't gotten back to me yet. And of course, we're in tax season, so I gotta wait. I mean, I don't want to be a pest. When I bring in hours, hopefully, that'll be a reminder, but I'll have
Okay.
to wait and see. Because that's the sort of thing that can change from year to year. All of the tax things are constantly in flux.
What was your question, Gary, to her?
The question was, what will be the next article we'll have submitted?
Yeah,
for
but
the-
you said that Charlotte had something in mind or something?
Donating an
tax
easement,
advantages to
yeah.
donating easements.
Oh, that donation.
yeah.
Yeah,
The process of it and.
yeah, because we did that,
Certainly
and
down
it
the
was,
line, yeah, that's
it was
something.
very, very worthwhile.
Yeah,
And
no.
I knew that things change, so I spoke with my accountant, and he said, whoa, now, wait a minute, you gotta really be careful, and da-da-da-da-da. And I said, I'm gonna put a disclaimer and say this is general information only, talk to your tax specialist for your particular situation. But he, off the top of his head, because it's been years since we had done ours, didn't know, how much, originally, you could shelter up to 50% per year of your taxable income for X number of years, and it expired within X number of years. But, as he pointed out, the taxes are constantly in a state of flux. So he said, do not do anything until I get back to you with the specifics. And
Yeah,
that's
this will
several
take,
weeks
this
ago.
will take quite a bit of vetting, because I think the town attorney would probably want to look at it as well.
That could be too.
I
yeah.
think we should.
But as I
do
said,
that.
I told him right from the get-go, I'm writing the article just to get people interested in the concept.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be very specific, saying, consult your own tax.
Very general,
And blah, blah, blah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
very
And he said,
general.
oh, that's good, because obviously,
So, okay, that's not going to be the second quarter article then?
no,
So
because
how about-
I kind of doubt he's going to look into it until after April
understand.
15th.
How about a little something about the history of Sabine? At the corner of Peck and Wickham is where Peck lived, and he had a mill down in there.
Yeah, that's where my thoughts were going. We need to highlight the histories of our properties.
I'm going to attend the Moodus Reservoir Preservation group on the 8th, and I've had some emails with Al there. And since that property is on the reservoir,
On the reservoir, yeah.
I can begin to, that'll be part of my segue into our relationship with the Moodus Reservoir group.
Something that I was
And
talking with Jim about is when that dam was built and the responses
Yeah.
people have had historically to the loss of land and how stone walls
Yeah,
going
yeah.
down into the water became docks and
So we'll discuss this, because 600 words versus
Yeah,
800 words
yeah.
are a picture, but yeah, I mean, so that's a possibility.
Okay.
Next month, I'll
Yeah,
see
it's not-
if I can dig out,
It's not due
be able
till,
to present something.
what, this one was just published
was
in
just-
January?
This one was first quarter.
So the
So
next one
this is
would
the
be like
summer.
April.
Possibly. That's when they come out.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'll probably get a call sometime in March, start thinking about it. So,
So maybe, is that enough time?
Early April, yeah, I could probably get something together
That would
for
be
the
awesome.
events magazine.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm fascinated about the whole decision to dam it and how that impacted.
but I do like the idea of getting some history of the property.
Yeah, I mentioned that to Marilyn, that I think we need better histories of
Yeah.
each of the properties so that,
Why is it named Sabine, for
Yeah.
example? Where did the name Sabine come from, for example?
That's a good question. Yeah,
I
exactly.
believe it was the family.
Okay.
Yeah,
that owned the
usually we
property.
go with the early family name or the most recent,
Well,
depending on which is more important in
that-
naming the preserves.
Yeah, certainly that's been my experience in my time here, and that's why I expected Jim to say something about Sabine when I was talking to him about the property, but he was talking all about Peck and Cone. He said when they first started blazing trails in there, he found a stone with FC carved into it. And he was able to ascertain that it was in fact Frank Cone, but then next time he went back, it was gone.
Let's just be clear though, so I have a point of accountability.
Yep.
John, you're gonna be the
Yeah,
author for
because
the
I'm
next
gonna be talking with
events
people
magazine?
on the reservoir, and so that I kind of is a good step into that direction.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems like you might want to coordinate with,
And I'll
and I'm sure the Historical Society has some good
so
information on.
we're just talking about an events calendar, not a full
Yeah,
conversation.
just the 600 word one.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've already been in conversation with Jim about Sabine. I'll throw you what information I have.
Okay,
and
good.
you just take the best 600 words.
Okay,
And whatever's left, I'll do another article later about Sabine.
so we'll do this together.
Sure.
Okay.
Most of these articles I see have no attribution. They don't give a byline
That's fine.
in the magazine, so it would just be
Yeah.
from the Conservation
I'll-
Commission.
Just out of curiosity, Tom, when was the dam built?
Around 1850, Jim said.
And that was generally for the mills, just to power the mills.
I didn't get that far.
Down the
with
Moodus
it.
River.
Yeah, that, I have no idea why they decided to dam it. I was trying to get at the geology of it, because one of the things I noticed about Sabine is how, I mean, the Moodus Reservoir is still at a pretty high elevation, so it's just interesting to me how the water collects and how they make the decision where they're gonna put the dam, and there's all of this sort of flatland, the water's not moving like Roaring Brook, for example. It's sort of all slow and winding around through the marshes and that kind of thing. So I was just curious about that, and I only got this far with him.
Yeah, but you were aware of the Bernstein Dam, right?
No.
It's a half a mile down from the Moodus Reservoir Dam?
There's another dam.
Yeah, and it breached.
Ah,
And that's recently, right?
Oh, I don't remember, but
This is an awesome piece of architecture. You have to see this.
oh, great. Where is that?
It's on the Bernstein property. It's,
And is that land trust? That's not,
yes, land
okay.
trust, yeah.
Okay.
And that was the original dam that powered the mills.
Huh.
And at some point, they decided to put the Moodus Reservoir Dam in to impound more water or more, because what were there, 8, 9, 12 mills?
12 mills, I believe.
why?
12 mills on
And
the
what did they do?
It was
What did
twine,
those
twine
do?
capital of the country.
And what they would
More
do
twine.
would, the bells would ring in the morning, and they would open the sluice way of the dam.
Wow.
And that would supply the water for the mills for the day. And then they'd close it, and it would refill and
Oh,
do it all over again.
All right, guys, we need to move ahead.
Yeah,
okay, sorry.
John, I think
Okay,
you're up now.
I'll try to stick to my 15 minutes, got a lot to talk about. Connecticut Institute for Resilience and Climate Adaptation made a number of contacts with them. with Katie Lund and David Murphy. Just let me point out that in December, Governor Lamont, through an executive order, pledged $5 million to Circa for an expansion of its climate resilience work into the eastern part of the state, which would include the capital region, the southeast COGS, and River COG. I got in touch with people down at River COG and also with the select woman.
I'm sorry, John, but is COG,
COG,
is
COG,
that a-
Council of Governments.
Ah, okay.
Council
And
of
John, what
Governments.
is Circa?
Circa is Connecticut Institute for Resilience and Climate Adaptation. Circa. And they started in 18 in Fairfield County and New Haven County, and now with this infusion of state funds, they're going to be developing vulnerability assessments. They call it Climate Change Vulnerability Index, and also looking at a pipeline for actual infrastructure projects, as well as assessments in educational projects. There's a lot of material here. So we, being the first select woman, Bernie and myself, attended a virtual webinar must have been about a week or 10 days ago now, which featured a presentation by David Murphy, who is an environmental engineer and the lead person for Resilient Connecticut 2.0. As I mentioned, Resilient Connecticut started Circa's project in Fairfield and New Haven counties, and now they're going to be addressing this region. I should point out too that a common question is, well, we're in from the coast, and they started and they kind of got identified as addressing sea level rise and storm surges in the coast. But David was very clear to mention at the webinar that, and that was on the 23rd, I have my notes here, of February, that it's not all coastal, those were his words. So they're looking at rural resilience. And in fact, we talked about that at a previous meeting. I think I handed out a list of actions that were recommended by the Northwest Hills COGS, which was funded by Circa. So this isn't an entirely new approach, but it's an approach that will address our needs and the other 17 towns in the lower Connecticut COGS. Now, after the meeting, I contacted the first select woman and had a meeting with her in which we discussed how this would impact the town. Through conversations previously with River COG, in particular Margot Burns, I was led to the East Haddam Natural Hazards, or Hazard actually, there's no S there, East Haddam Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan. And each of the 17 towns in the lower Connecticut River COG, through the regional planning, had developed their own very specific natural hazards mitigation plan. And the first selectwoman and I went over the goals for East Haddam of this plan. Now, this plan is extremely important, and it's along with the Climate Change Vulnerability Index, it's really the meat of how Connecticut, Resilient Connecticut 2.0 is going to be approaching their work in the various towns, including ours. So the goals that the first select woman and I looked at, essentially, and this is all online. If you go to RiverCog and look up under plans, you can see the natural hazard mitigation plans, and you can find ours. Basically, the goals, and I'm just going to very briefly mention that they basically to promote sound flood management and in terms of risks to life and property. The second one is the built environment, infrastructure projects related to the built environment. And the third, I thought, was really very appropriate to what the Conservation Commission might contribute. And that is, it covers the people component of mitigation via outreach and education. And I know I'm throwing a lot of information out, and I'm happy to talk about it, but I'm watching the clock as well. So let me, so the first select woman has then, after our meeting, I talked with David Murphy, and David said, yes, we're going to be working on this climate change vulnerability index. They look at census things and whatnot, and they do, I'm not going to give you the specifics of how the methodology works, but they're going to do that and have a report applicable to East Haddam end of March, early April. But more immediately, David Murphy suggested that we meet with a small group in the town that would include the first select woman, land use, Jim Ventris, public works, and emergency management. And so an email went out to folks, and it looks like we're still waiting on, someone was away on vacation, we're still waiting to get the final date, but it looks like it's going to be on March 8th, and also
I'm sorry, what's going to be on March 8th?
March 8th is the tentative meeting of this sort of small
Of the group that David
group
Murphy suggested.
that's going to work with
And who's
Resilient
putting this together?
Connecticut. Pardon?
Who's putting this meeting together?
The first select woman.
Okay.
Yeah, and myself. And it's going to include RiverCog, Margot Burns. Now, I'd like to go back to goal 3, which is outreach and education, which is, and I talked with the first select woman about this, and one of the things that the community outreach person at Circa, Katie Lund, suggested was that they prepare some kind of a program, informational program, even a training program, for us at some point. What I just spoke about is really happening at the town governmental level, but on the public education level.
And Katie Lund is outreach for who?
Katie Lund is outreach for Circa.
Sure.
And so about a week ago, Bernie, Todd Gelson, and I met, and we talked about the need for education and developed an idea for having a public meeting, maybe at the Grange, where a forum where we could engage the public with some town officials, with Circa, and bring in the community on this, which is part of our responsibility. Finally, I mentioned, I didn't mention, but I want to mention that I've also been in touch with the Land Trust, with Pete Govert, who's very interested in this, and as part of engaging stakeholders in the challenge of creating a climate resilience program for the town in the long term. One note here that I have for myself, and then I'll throw it out if there are any questions, is that when we're talking about the impact of severe events due to a changing environment, the Circa and Resilient Connecticut 2.0 are really looking at 2 indicators, and those are flood and heat, and wind as well. So effects as a result of a storm, hurricane, severe heavy rain, or heat wave. And lastly, I'll just say that at this meeting that's coming up with a small group, we're going to look at the hazard management plan in detail and identify areas of particular importance to the town. And this is that hazard management plan that I mentioned is been developed in concert with FEMA, and they have a methodology called HAZUS. And I know this is maybe hard to see, but you can see this is a map of the town, and the red lined areas indicate areas of potential flood. So hopefully on March 8th or thereabouts, we're going to be looking at these particular areas and identifying them for future mitigation of some kind, whether it's infrastructure.
Is that map on the RiverCog site?
This map is on the RiverCog site.
Okay.
If you go to plans,
Yeah.
and then it's the 2021 update of the regional natural hazard mitigation plan.
It's
and then,
also in our POCD, Plan of Conservation and Development.
Oh, that same map is in,
yes, it is.
Same map.
okay.
It's not very detailed. I mean, I think that's where meeting with COG and finding out what areas are actually the more
Yep.
vulnerable points in town to
And-
flooding. This is basically flooding here.
Yeah. The site you just mentioned, say it again, please?
The town government site.
POCD, Plan
Yeah,
of Conservation and Development, East Haven.
That's the booklet that we were looking at a few meetings ago, 6-7 months ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
probably, yeah.
So that was a lot. Are there any, can I clarify anything, or?
Well, I don't know how did they address the heat part? The heat part of it? Waves and
Yeah,
drought?
yes, well, that's part of the CCVI, the Climate Change Vulnerability Index. And this is a handout on that, and there's on the back page are flood contributors and heat contributors. They will do CCVI for East Haddam. As I say, it'll be available end of March, early April. And they're going to basically do it from data that already exists. And then they can't tell me quite how they're going to do this, but what they did in Fairfield and New Haven was that they had what they call ground truthing. They had people in the areas give them feedback. Now, I'm not sure how that's going to work here, but I think on Tuesday the meeting is really going to be on response, public works response, emergency management response, and prevention for extreme rain and wind events.
Yeah.
This will come. This is certainly part of it.
No, but I think in terms of heat and conditions like that, the only way to address that would be, and that's a town-wide issue. And the only way to really address that would be through emergency services if we were to have, such an intense heat wave that we would have to, set up cooling centers.
Yes.
And that type of thing.
Yes.
Yeah. That's all I wanted to add.
Yeah. I'll report back to on what will be discussed and what will be discussed.
Great. Sounds
What is
good.
A for in Circa again?
I'm sorry?
The A in Circa?
Adaptation.
So Connecticut Institute for Resilience of Climate and Adaptation.
Yes, and if you were here at several meetings ago, I handed out, and I also mailed those links.
Yeah. Great, thank you. And COG is
Council of Government.
Council of Government, thank you.
Yes.
And David Murphy is
David Murphy is
an environmental engineer with
from
what organization?
From Resilient Connecticut 2.0, from Circa, and
So,
their
right,
their
Resilient
project
Connecticut is a specific project of
of
Circa.
Circa, yes,
And David Murphy is its director?
is the environmental engineer
Okay,
and is really driving that program. And Katie Lund is the outreach person who is also offered her staff if we want to do some kind of an in-service or a public forum or a workshop
Okay.
at an appropriate time.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my perspective would be, if people came to a meeting at the Grange, what are you gonna tell them?
I think
We're looking at this, and I would think people would be more interested to say, what can I do about it? I mean, just informing them that, hey, there are people looking at this and there are issues, that's great, but I would think you would want to try to tell people what they can do, how they can make an impact. Don't you think, on
How would
climate
you-
change?
How would you do that?
I have no
think
idea.
No, I was thinking
I mean,
more.
I think there are
I was thinking more in terms of having
things that can be
somebody,
said.
a speaker, put on a presentation that would,
Yeah, somebody from this Circa.
or something. Yeah,
To talk to people about it, but
if there's something.
you
that's-
can't just tell people that,
Just come
they're
together.
terrible and they're going to get worse. I don't think you should do that. I think we should be saying, these are concrete things you can do to make an impact on climate change. Now, maybe if this woman is an educator, this Katie Lund, maybe she can work that into it,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, absolutely, Gary, yeah.
Charlie, you want to say something?
Well, no, I think that's interesting that you say that, because we have to involve people, of course, and get them motivated, but I think education is part of it, and then, maybe give some examples of what other towns are doing or what other people are trying to do.
Yeah.
In our own little way, right?
And I can report that my conversation with the first select woman also touched on climate mitigation. So we're really, when they say hazard mitigation, they're really talking about shoring up our ability to respond to emergencies, either proactively or in the midst of an emergency.
But we also need to address how to prevent
So
emergencies.
what the first select woman and I talked about is education on what actually East Haddam is doing very well with its open space. And this is where the Conservation Commission is so important. And we talked about how it's really our economic draw as well, that people come here because of the open space. But the open space also serves as a buffer against global warming. It's very important.
The green space and everything,
Yeah.
right? That's what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So there's that educational aspect. But Gary, there are many things that can be said. Individual landowners, a third of our town is, or maybe perhaps more, is owned privately, forested or fields. Some of it's maybe in easements, but not all of it's in open space, and not all of it is developed. And landowners can prepare for increased rain events, erosion control.
Sure.
And there are many things that I think that we can, kinds of information that we can provide them in terms of in the changing flora and fauna, especially the flora. Yeah. Over time, but to your point I will look into that and incorporate that.
I mean,
as we move
there
forward on that.
there are things that you can do, for instance, if you have a wet piece of land on your property, as I do, because my house is kind of on a hill and my front yard gets very, very wet. One thing you can think of doing is building a rain garden. Okay, what's a rain garden? You know? You actually have plants that like to have wet feet
Oh, that
and can
thrive.
survive in it.
And
Right, and
absorb the
thrive.
water, that's the main
And
point.
draw up water, and I mean, you may even get to the point where you
Impound
need to
water.
have it's not a sump, but it's like a dry well, right, that's filled with gravel, but the water coming down can then drain into that. I mean, there's a lot of
Those are
things you
detention
can do.
basins. Detention
Detention.
basins.
Detention basin.
Yeah, we require those for a lot of subdivisions.
Right.
And we're requiring a lot of rain gardens now, in vulnerable areas.
It's very smart to do
Like,
that.
like the house that we just approved on, out on Basin Lake. You know, the idea is to collect all the water that comes off the roof and the driveways and send it to a rain garden. And, in this case, there needed to be an overflow to the rain garden, to a grassy swale area, because it was going to affect the downhill neighbor. So it was diverted, and these techniques are being used today, and that's a good educational component to this whole thing. It's
All right, well, we are running short of time, and I would like to hear our president speak tonight, so can we move on to liaison reports? John, are you okay?
I'm okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Tom.
Tom, IWWC?
IWWC, mostly private homes and these kinds of things that you're talking about. Randy Dill and the rest of those guys are on top of it. It's great to watch him work. Moves right through.
Good.
Talks about detention basins and rain gardens and what needs to happen. The only thing that I think is sort of interesting, still doesn't affect the Conservation Commission, is that Consumer Reports has applied to build a track for testing self-driving cars.
Oh, no.
Oh, how would it be?
That hasn't come to
No,
PZ
not
yet? Okay.
Additional track?
Yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah.
Well, they have 400 acres, so,
Yeah, they got a lot,
yeah.
Wonder
That's
what that would entail. A little different, probably, huh?
Yeah,
I haven't seen anything, but
they've
I
got
thi-
the plans all drawn up, and
but they have to go through wetlands.
there were not a lot of wetlands
There weren't.
impacted, but still they had to come before the committee, and yeah, so it was kind of a big to-do. I didn't
Be on
look
the
at
south
drawings.
end of the property then.
I don't know it well enough to be able to
Yeah,
answer that,
yeah,
but they're just at the beginning of the process.
Well,
So
that's
you'll probably
interesting.
be hearing about it sooner
I'm sure.
than later, yeah.
I just heard there's already been 2 deaths with the
Self-driving
self-driving
cars.
cars. Yeah, I mean,
People abuse the feature. They abuse the feature, I believe, and they, are you speaking about completely autonomous driving or just the,
no, the complete, the new thing is the car goes off and it picks people up and it goes all over the place. And there's already been 2 deaths.
I didn't think that was legal in this country yet.
yeah,
I didn't
Well,
think so
I
either.
don't
Yeah,
know if
think
it was
they're
just in the testing or
still
what, but
testing
that's
it.
what I had heard.
because I believe the self-driving cars, I believe you have to have at least some contact with the wheel periodically.
Right.
But that's fascinating.
Okay, Bernie, P and Z?
Nothing really to speak of. Where am I? Like I said, we approved that house out at Basin Lake on Basin Road, yeah. And no, we're just talking about regulation changes in the campgrounds, parking, and of course, we're focusing on this cannabis legalization during our moratorium. But nothing.
That ends in June, I believe. In June, I think is the
It
end.
does, yeah, yeah. December to June,
Yeah.
June or July, yeah. We'll have something in place by then, but I was assured that the first selectman is,
Against it.
no, she's trying to prioritize moving this to referendum, so I think if it passes referendum, then we'll have regulations in place ready to go. If it fails at referendum, then it's a non-issue. It won't be allowed in town.
Tom, again, open space?
Yeah, it was all executive session, so nothing can be talked about specifically, but just when Jim was starting to relax, one of the properties he's been really working for a number of years came up, and so they're hoping that all goes well, and there's a new 100 acres added to all of it soon.
They are looking at another piece, huh?
Yeah.
Where is that?
Oh, you
I'm
can't
not
say.
allowed to say anything about it.
But it's in executive,
That's
Oh,
classified.
you can't know until the deal is
Oh, the
closed.
town is looking to purchase another 100? Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, and Jim's excited about it.
Yeah.
I don't understand how that man sleeps or eats. He's on every committee in the town. He's,
It has been for
if
years.
he's not in a committee, he's walking around talking to all the people who have land, saying,
Yeah.
you could donate it.
Yeah.
He's like greasing everybody. Anyway.
I noticed he was in his office as I came in here.
Yeah, exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
He deserves a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, yeah, he really does. He really does.
Okay, Bernie 8 Mile Committee?
Nothing to speak of. They've pushed, Nature Conservancy has pushed our move into Burnham Brook until late March now.
I thought that was supposed to already be up and running. I guess they pushed it back out.
We are going to be setting up our office at Burnham Brook.
Yeah.
And the T's haven't been crossed and the I's haven't been dotted, so they don't want us to actually move into the building until everything is square, but it seems like it's moving ahead.
Okay. Anything else? Good. Good?
I think so.
All right, planting and existing gardening updates. I ordered 25 each, bayberry and elderberry, and the bill was a little bit higher. We'll go over that when we get to the bills, okay? But they've been ordered, and the intention there is we'll be planting those in the community garden and watering them and nurturing them throughout the summer to get them in good shape in order to plant in the fall. And the intended sites for those, the elderberry will be below the pond at Petrel, and the bayberry will be, right now I have that planned for the hatch lot, where some of the autumn olive is. Charlotte, reserve monitor discussion?
I emailed everybody and said, with the windstorms, first of all, obviously don't go out when it's really windy, but afterwards, if you have a chance to check for downed things. And we got 3 responses reporting problems. You don't want me to read that into the record, right? The details.
Oh, you don't have to, you just have to share
So-
them with the rest of the group.
Yeah, so the 3 responses were sent on to Bernie, and he addressed them. And I'm assuming that on the people that didn't get back with problems, it was that there were no problems.
What were the particular properties?
The Chapel Farm and Petrel, and they were reported, and then
Dean.
Parker Road,
Dean, yeah.
the
Dean easement?
the Dean, and also
haven't gotten to that yet.
Sabine. Yeah,
Okay.
Is it down branches? That's what it is, probably.
That's a tree on Dean, yeah.
yeah.
It's-
Branch, anything that they could pick up, they picked up.
Okay.
Anything that required more expertise was passed on to Bernie.
And what was the other property then? Chapel, Dean, and?
And Petrel. I think they said they did Petrel. Yeah. Sue Kinsman with Allen and Wallace went to Chapel and Petrel.
Okay.
I always get a little confused about Chapel and Petrel. I mean, which half is?
Chapel Farm is all three parcels.
Right.
Chapel is.
Pizzini's on the
Yeah,
other side of
right.
Baker. Petrella is
In the middle.
Oh, that's, okay.
Petrella is where the road is,
Where
and the pond.
trail.
Pollinary garden
And the other piece, Boot Rock,
Boot Rock,
is
okay,
also a Pizzini piece.
okay.
So there's
Those
That's out on
three
82.
pieces, but collectively they're called Chapel Farm.
Chapel Farm.
Okay.
Those two Pizzini pieces were owned by Lyons.
Lions?
Yeah, she's the niece of Pizzini, and she sold us that land.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's three pieces connected together, and it used to be the Chapel Farm, Chapel Farm. Yeah.
There's a tree down across the red trail at Lefebvre.
Big?
No, it's like you can step over it.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just asking, can I just walk in there with my chainsaw, or does that create issues? You okay with that?
Don't tell.
Okay, okay, cool.
Well, you're a member of the Conservation Commission, so you're allowed. I would just say, please use safety, and I'm always concerned with Bernie, and I know he probably doesn't listen to me. But, you know, I really don't think you ought to be out there operating chainsaws if you're, you know, half a mile from the road. You cut yourself badly, and, you know, it's,
That's why
Well,
it takes
bring
me
your
good.
cell phone.
Yeah, it's probably best with a partner.
Well, I'm never alone.
Good, that's
Yeah.
smart.
Never know.
okay,
And
good.
nowadays, almost everyone would bring a cell phone, so that's.
I know how to put a turn the.
Yeah, but when your hands are full of blood, it's kind of hard to. I just want
Heaven
all you
forbid
guys
it's
to be
not
careful
that
out
bad.
there.
Yeah.
You see, there are too many people getting seriously injured with chainsaws.
Yeah.
Okay, Charlotte, anything else?
Those were the three. That's it.
That's good, okay. New business, new bills. I told you 25 Bayberry, 25 Elderberry. They came to $95 and $59 with $31 ground shipping. Total bill with change was $185.87, which I think was a bit more than I had
Yeah.
said, a couple dollars more than I had said we would have, but I'd like to see if we could get a motion to approve these.
So
Moved. Second.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
I'm writing it down.
second bill I have, and Dawn confirmed she has no other bills unless anyone else here has a bill, but
Did you get those bills to Dawn for the signs that I gave you?
you mean this one? From
Yeah.
Essex?
Yeah, Essex Display.
No, I didn't give it to her yet because we have to approve that at the meeting.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's normally the way we do it, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Anyway, there were two signs that were created. It doesn't even indicate what it was for, but I think this was for
One was
Elston Easement,
Gelston and one was Hayward.
Hayward. And that bill was for $430. And these are the nice enameled
Blue ones.
steel blue signs that
How
we
many
put up there.
signs?
Two.
$200 a piece.
Whoa, really? For these?
Mhm.
Oh, okay, they're bigger. Okay.
Big blue ones. Yeah,
And they're gonna last.
that's what they use, yeah.
As long as they don't get shot
As
up.
long as I don't get shot or stolen.
Nobody's shot him, no. Charlotte's keeping an eye on it.
Actually, my neighbors that live directly across from it, immediately saw that, said, oh, that's a really nice sign. So I said, good, let us know if anyone messes with it.
When you put those signs up, are you using those,
Heavy bolts, yeah.
the-
Timber locks, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the ones that are more difficult to just
Oh, yeah,
take
that-
off with a
They're
hand
not-
screwdriver?
They're not gonna take those out, no.
Okay.
Nobody steals those signs. Well,
Well, we lost the Lena.
us
sign.
Lena, yeah, didn't we?
All right, well, let's, can we get a motion to approve?
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Okay, passed unanimously. I guess I should have said the same thing for the first one, but I'll consider that covered. All right, now,
I'm making a note of that, Mr.
Okay.
Wilson.
okay. Conferences and memberships, still working on that. I do think we probably want to go with the Wild Things membership. It's a group affiliated with Conn College, the local affiliate. It was with Conn College and the Arboretum up there, and I think it's $95 to join them, and they have various programs that they offer on native plants and so forth. So that leaves $210 in the budget for other memberships.
Okay.
So if anybody has,
$25 for the Moodus Reservoir group?
Oh, great, yeah, definitely.
Membership, yeah.
Yeah, 25.
it's a membership?
Yeah, well, they'll take whatever you want to give.
I was
them,
told
but-
it was 25
Yeah, per person, yeah.
per person.
I think 50 a family or something,
Oh,
yeah.
Do they have organizational? Because I mean, the
I don't
CC
know, that would
be
be something
So-
John could,
yeah, I'll find out on March 8th.
Yeah, why don't you see if
Yeah.
they have like an organization can
Yes.
can
I'm a
contribute.
member of that.
Yeah, I actually,
Moodus-
in my communication with them, I told them that I'm on the Conservation Commission and that we're interested in,
Mhm.
you know, learning from them and,
I mean, presumably, if we can find an organization that
okay,
offers training or programs that we can get reduced attendance at, or reduced cost to attend if we're a member, that would be something that would be preferable, but.
the yearly dinner, maybe we could get a break on.
And what is it? It's Moodus Preservation?
Moodus Reservoir Preservation Group.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to see if they're open to that. I mean,
Okay.
how that all, what the ramifications of that would be.
Do me a favor, John, when you talk to them, when they put their echo harvester on the water
Yeah.
this summer,
Yes,
I'd love to go out there in a
Yeah.
kayak and watch the operation.
we can do that.
I think,
put my double kayak on, we can both go.
well, I have one,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
And I'd love to see how that whole
Okay.
operation
It looks
works.
interesting.
Have you seen it in
No, but
operation?
I've seen a video of how it's supposed to
Yeah,
look, and it
yeah.
looks interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's great
Yeah, they had the unit down at the airport this summer at the
at the thing, at the,
Celebrate
Celebrate East Haddam.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's quite the
it's quite the unit.
unit.
It
yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
I have one public comment that came in, and also this kind of will be joined up with item 9 on the agenda, announcements and other discussion. I was alerted by the town that the DEEP officials are planning several controlled burns at Makamutu State Park. I think I copied the
Yes.
commission on that, if anybody was interested in attending. I went and I listened to what DEEP had to say. They're planning on doing 5 locations. 4 of the locations are small, about 1 acre each. One of them is a little bit bigger, about 6 acres. And the intent of this, 2 of the properties are on scenic overlooks, and 2 of the properties are native grasslands that they want to try to regenerate. And then the biggest part of the property is actually a scrub oak and pitch pine that they're trying to regenerate. Because pine cones apparently don't open up unless they're exposed to pretty extreme
Getting
heat.
burned.
So I actually wrote something up and already submitted it to the paper because I thought we should get something in the news to alert residents that there's going to be controlled burns. So I'll just read what I submitted to them. And this isn't going in until March 10th. On February, the title will be Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection schedules controlled burns at Makamutu State Park. On February 24th, DEEP officials met with representatives of East Haddam's Land Trust, Conservation Commission, and Fire Department, and Friends of Makamutu to discuss 5 controlled burns at the park. These are planned for the month of March and can't be more firmly scheduled because of necessity. Conditions, wind, moisture, need to be evaluated on each day. 2 locations are being burned to open up vistas of the Connecticut River. Another 2 will restore native grasslands, and the final burn targets an area to promote regeneration of pitch pine and scrub oak. DEEP has agreed to alert both the town office and the fire department on each day when a burn will be conducted. For safety purposes, please follow directions by DEEP representatives or signage if you visit the park during a controlled burn. The DEEP forester conducting the burns may be contacted at frank.servo@ct.gov for further information. So it was just kind of a notification so that residents will be aware if they're seeing smoke coming over from Makamutu. They'll know not to be overly concerned that it's under control.
And what you just read is going in East Haddam News on March 10th, you said?
On March 10th, yeah.
Okay.
Now, are they also going to have someone posted at the parking lot or the entrance to alert people? Because, you know, the signage is such that all dogs are supposed to be on leashes. But I can tell you from driving down there with my horse that 90% of them are off leash.
Charlotte, I don't know what to say.
And so I don't know if they're aware of that, but I mean, people would need to know. So, because, I mean, hopefully a dog wouldn't run into a burning area, but you never can tell.
Well, there were two representatives, Frank, who is a service forester, and Jack Hines, park superintendent, were there from DEEP. Cameron Beard was there from the Land Trust, who I had alerted them to that and asked if they'd be interested, and Tanya from Friends of Makamutu.
What's her last name?
And the reason I mentioned that first was because she sent me a message and asked me to read this to the Conservation Commission. Tanya Burgoyne, Bourgoin. She's the president of the Friends of Makamutu.
Okay, good.
And it's a bit long, so
Wait, is this public comment?
It is.
What is this?
she asked me if I would read this to the commission, but I am still going to cut it down a bit. She asked, I wholeheartedly believe that all conservation-minded entities in our area should work cooperatively toward the common goal of protecting open spaces. It seems that we are more welcoming to entities like the Conservation Commission and the East Haddam Land Trust than those same entities are to us. How can we facilitate better communication and collaboration between our group and the town? I realize that our organization operates differently and has a more focused mission than EHLT, but we could greatly benefit from the same type of consideration currently shown to EHLT. In the spirit of collaboration, I am extending the invitation for representatives of the Conservation Commission to participate in our spring fling. See attached flyer. And we hope that you will be able to attend. Please let me know beforehand if you wish to set up a table.
Oh, I'm going to that, yeah.
What
I'm
is
with
this
the 8
one?
Mile.
Friends of Makamutu and Sunrise.
So this is just for the state park, Friends of Makamutu.
Right.
I guess they're having this event called the Spring Fling on March 20th, and they've invited us, if we should like to attend as the Conservation Commission, to set up a table where we could hand out our trail maps, perhaps, or just talk about the Conservation Commission. I have to offer that to any of you because I will be in Florida on the 20th of March.
Lucky you.
So, and Tanya already knows that I can't attend.
I'm gonna be there with the 8 Mile and the Salmon River.
Yeah.
That's on the 20th, that's nice.
Is that a Saturday?
You wanna join me, John?
Yeah, I'll join you, yeah, and get maps.
You want to
and-
set up a separate table as a Conservation Commission?
I don't mind sharing.
Next to the
yeah,
8 Mile.
I can bring a
so
little-
that I can cover both.
I can bring a little table or a chair or whatever.
Well, you have the tent too, right?
I do have a tent.
Might be appropriate to bring a tent, especially if it's going to be a drizzly day.
Yeah.
It's only, I think, 12 to 3.
Wear my hat, wear the hat.
Yeah, I'm a Boy Scout.
I would like to bring the tent too. That
Oh,
sounds like
good.
fun.
Oh, okay.
That'd be fun.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, put it on your calendar.
Bring a friend.
That's the 20th.
It'll be nice meeting them. Now, do they have a membership, Makamutus?
Yeah, and
Friends?
they do things, for instance, they cleaned up a big messy area and put in a garden and.
They did, they put in a pollinator garden there.
Right.
That's right.
Things like that,
So, they
and-
do for Makamutus, I guess it's Sunrise and Makamutus, or
It
Makamutus
looks
and
like their,
Sunrise?
their email address looks like it's an amalgamation of the two.
Yes,
Mac to Sun.
So,
Oh, okay.
right,
And
because
Yeah,
they
there's-
basically
on
hooked
this
the
one,
two
there's no
together
I.
once the second
It's
one was.
Mac Sun.
So my question is,
Macsun, M-A-C-H.
would you like me to respond to her?
Macsun Friends.
Oh, if you would like to.
Sure. I mean, since I plan to be there or
Yeah.
represent the group,
sure.
what's her contact? Or you'll email it to me, Gary, please.
Let me send you the message that she
Okay.
sent me, and then
Send me
you'll
the
be able to
message,
get
yeah.
that.
I mean, that's education and outreach. That's
So
our
Gary,
bread and butter.
is this another organization in town that we should be a member of?
It's more of an individual.
I don't know.
So it's not a membership group?
Charlie, do you have the,
I passed it that way.
oh, okay, you gave it
Yeah.
across, okay.
Here,
Our
Let John and
Connecticut Valley
Charlotte see it
Driving
as well.
Club got involved with them several times, because we were out there clearing
You,
trails
you'll send me this.
and whatnot. And
I will send that to you,
Yeah.
yes.
when the ranger prior to the current one, I'm talking years back, decided that he wanted to emphasize the wonderful prospects there for horseback riding and carriage driving, we asked permission to do some work because there's the dirt roads and then there's the woods roads, but the woods roads were not navigable by horse and cart because there were trees down and this, that, and the other. And I can't think of his name right off the top of my head. He lived in East Haddam, but senior moments. Anyway,
Rob Smith?
he said, give me a wish list of 10 items. And because they let us do clearing, but not allowed to use chainsaws. And that was when you've got a tree this big blocking access, you need a chainsaw. So we gave them a list, and one of them included a place where there was a stone and a tree where I literally had to get out of my two-wheel cart and lift it over, and thank goodness I have such a great horse, because he stood there like an angel, and we had this much clearance, and plus they had to duck under branches. So they put that on the wish list, and they not only moved the stone way out of the way, the tree was this way, they cut down the tree. It was fabulous. And, Phil Uris, he was the one that was there at
Uris,
the time.
okay, Phil.
He was fantastic. Now, in the intervening years, someone else has taken over, and our driving club has been less involved because, as with a lot of these organizations, it's dwindling and it's all gray hairs pretty much now. But it gets a lot of activity. A lot of people trailer in there because they can park in the big field. A lot of horseback riding groups come there. The Carriage Club had several pleasure drives there and whatnot. And the Friends of Makamutus and the Driving Club at that time did a lot of sort of the kind of facelift type of work.
Yeah.
And the Makamutus has been an ongoing, that group, the Friends, has been an ongoing group there.
Okay.
It's individuals, and there's no membership other than you're willing to work, you're willing to help, join us.
Mhm.
Yeah, good group.
Gary, I know we're at the end of the meeting, I'm not to interrupt you.
Oh, no, I'm
but
done.
I'm gonna take just 1 minute, because I did talk with the first selectman about this, and I really feel obligated to mention it. Our shed, so Harris, Todd and I went up there, we found a well at Harris. There's water at Harris. There's talk, the Sustainability Committee and and the first select woman, about putting some kind of electricity, water at Harris inside the fence. That, and I brought up the possibility of having some kind of a container or small building so that we can build our kiosk, we can actually have a workspace, bring a vehicle in there, and keep equipment there. And she said, go for it. Justify it, plan it, and present it.
This would be inside the fence line,
Inside the
so,
fence, yeah.
now is that fence locked?
It is, there's a combination, yeah.
The well is outside the fence.
The well is,
Right, but I'm
it
saying,
butts the fence.
would the building be inside the fence line?
Building would be inside the fence.
Yeah, that would solve the problem about worrying about vandals.
And they were planning to drill a well there, so this is all being, looked at really freshly with Todd's, remembering that there's actually water there, and we looked at it and it's full of water.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So-
there was a dairy farm there at one time.
Maybe at the next meeting we can review
This is
that.
the
I just,
public gardens you're talking about?
yeah, community garden.
You're talking about like a container, because Bernie, you had mentioned that as well.
Yeah.
Like a tractor trailer container.
Well, it's a container, yeah. It's not a 40-footer, it's a 20-footer container. They go between $2,000 and $5,000.
Used?
Wait, so did you say there's a well, or we're just talking about that
There's a
truck?
well,
There's
there's an
an
existing well.
A hand-dug well
It's,
there,
it's the
Tom.
original
need a
early
pump.
hand-dug well, but it's very productive.
Nobody knew about it.
Okay.
But the
Okay,
town
cool.
already has these
Don't
plans
do it
to
always.
expand the use of the garden and with some
Todd's
electricity
little
and
secret.
water.
No, it's not a secret. He mentioned
Did
it
you see the
before.
pictures? It's way over the far end of the field,
The
just
town side,
closer
halfway.
to the Harris house, the red house, the Harris house.
Oh, yeah.
It's it's outside the fence. It's I don't know,
and it butts the fence.
50
It's like a-
feet in
No.
from the corner?
Oh, it's about halfway from one corner to
Halfway.
the other corner,
So 100,
on the town
200.
side, and it really abuts the fence.
It's that close, huh?
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay. Can I get a second?
Sorry, I meant to put that on the agenda.
Tom wants
Okay,
to go
meeting
home.
is adjourned. We can discuss this
Do we
further.
want to go hear the press?
And don't leave. I've got your eggs in the
Yeah,
car.
oh, good. Oh, we're gonna go up to the car.